Are you in the market for a pistol optic but don't want to sell an organ on the black market in order to afford it? Are you tired of the internet goons and FUDs preaching about overpriced optics are the only way? Well, then this video is for you. Today, we're going to go over a relatively well-known company known as SwampFox, in particular, their Justice 2 optic. Now, I did just mount this a couple days ago, so we will have to zero it, but that lets me go over the windage and elevation controls with you. As you can see, nothing flashy here, just your run-of-the-mill dials. They do use a flathead slot though, which I prefer, and they give you this nice little tool which works great. But yeah, nothing out of the ordinary, just what you'd pretty much come to expect, but it gets the job done, and that's what matters. As far as the other features, as you can see, I went with the green dot version, but it's also available as a red dot if that's what you prefer. But most notably, and the reason I actually purchased this optic in the first place, is that large window. I also love that they went with a top load battery cap because I can't stand having to remove my entire optic just to replace the battery. Here we've got some large, easy to manipulate controls for your on, off, and illumination settings, which is great because I continually see other optics completely miss the mark when it comes to this. Aesthetically, it looks very similar to a Trijicon SRO, which is great if you like that style. However, it should be noted that if you planned on running a front-mounted iron sight, you won't be able to because of that overhang. All in all, I really think this is a great value, both feature-wise and aesthetically, especially considering the lifetime warranty and the price point. I didn't want to bore you guys with going through the whole process of getting this pistol zeroed, so I've got it pretty much dialed in, maybe one more little tweak, and we're golden. All right, let's fire a few shots and get on with this review. Oh yeah, she's good. Now, before we get started, I do want to clarify something. I am actually someone that has bought overpriced optics in the past. For example, I have a Trijicon RMR CC on my Glock 43X because that's what the slide I had was milled for. Now, years later, after having run it extensively and used it for my everyday carry for a long time, what I can tell you is the dot clarity is not good, the controls are awful, and aside from durability, there is no way I could ever convince myself to spend that much money on that particular brand of optic, or honestly, maybe anything. The new primary arms mailbox optic does look pretty good, but $600, you're out of your mind if you think I'm going to pay $600 for a pistol optic. Anyway, that's personal opinion. Do what you will. I also ran Holosuns for years exclusively, and I no longer run Holosuns with the exception of two that I still have that have yet to break. Case in point, every Holosun that I ever purchased, the glass either cracked or the glue for the glass gave way and I had glass wobble. Furthermore, their warranty used to be so good that you could send an email, 30 days later you have a new optic. As of my last experience with Holosun, and I mean last because this is what caused me to shift away from them, I had a lady that grilled me for almost 2 weeks going back and forth trying to say that it was a user-related issue and that they don't warranty that anymore. Well, that's just unacceptable when you have such poor glass. Anyhow, again, this is all opinionated. If you run Holosun or Trijicon or whatever, that's great. Everyone has a different experience. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to point fingers, but I am here to review this bad boy. So let's see how it stacks up. As you see here, we have two separate pistols, both of which have the Justice 2 optic mounted to them. We've got my Glock 47 model that I train with regularly, as well as my Glock 19 model, which is my everyday carry. Needless to say, if I purchased one and then turned around and purchased another, especially for my everyday carry, probably a good sign this optic's legit. What do you say we get warmed up with a 100-yard bangaroni? Fuck you. A notable mention about me is the fact that I am probably the furthest thing from a safe queen imaginable. That being said, this guy has had its fair share of getting banged around. You can see all the marring there on the front and even some here on the top. As to where that came from, no idea, but it's there, and it is a testament to the durability of this optic because there are no cracks, no scratches, and no wobble on the glass. And that's another reason why I actually chose to buy another one for my everyday carry, because this is my duty pistol. It's what I train with the most. It's my favorite gun, honestly. So if it can hang with this guy, it can definitely take the jostling around of being holstered and all the, moving around in and out of the car with your everyday carry. Let's get up close and personal with that glass and dot. Woo, that's nice. Think fast. So about a month or so ago, we had a really bad hailstorm and a lot of roofs got damaged. As a result, the place I work had roofers coming from far and wide trying to garner business. One of which, whose logo I'll blur out right here, gave me this neat little business card, which happens to be metal. So today what we're going to do is the old split the card trick where you shoot the thin side of the card, except for probably not going to split the card since it's metal. However, maybe we will split the round, which we'll never find, or make a cool dent in this card. Either way, let's get into it. So as you can see here, we have an incredibly high-tech stand that we'll be utilizing today. Just gonna stick that guy right there in that crack. And already you can barely see it. So we're just gonna shoot from about 7 yards, see what we get. Oh yeah, you could definitely hear that too. Now let's see if we can actually find it. All right, I'm gonna look for it. I'll check back with you. So I actually had to roll the footage back and zoom in to see where it went. And coincidentally, it wasn't that far from the actual mount. And as you can see here, it looks like we hit it right on the top edge and it slid down the side there. So love to see what the bullet looks like. Doesn't look like it split it, but still pretty cool. Now that we've got that precision shot out of the way, let's give this guy a proper send off and put one right through the middle. I don't know that that actually went through. Let's find out. Made a funny ass noise though, I'll tell you that. Oh yeah, she went right through all right. Now one thing I probably should mention is that the dot on this is 6 MOA. That's quite a bit larger of a dot than I'm used to. I usually run a 3 MOA dot. However, I will say that I've ran this at long range and with precision shots like we just saw with no problems. Ideally, larger dots are good for closer range acquisition, quick transitions at short range, things like that, as the smaller dot will allow you to get over your target and still have a bigger field of view. Nevertheless, I've been running this thing just fine, no complaints whatsoever, so maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and rip one all the way out to 200 yards. Suspicions confirmed. Usually when this target rings that loud, it's because you hit the edge. And I saw a little dust cloud over there to the side after I heard it. So I knew something was up. And boy, howdy did we hit the edge. Look at that. We literally split the bullet almost perfectly in half. That's wild. So for my final thoughts on the Justice 2 by SwampFox Optics, I'm going to keep this pretty quick because clearly if I purchased one for one pistol and liked it enough to purchase it for an additional one, the proof's in the pudding. However, I should mention that when I originally purchased this optic, I took it out to the range to zero it, fired 4 or 5 shots, dot turns off. I thought, hey, no sweat. I've run into this with Vortex optics before. Either the prongs on the battery aren't pushed in enough, the battery cap's not tight enough, or maybe I just have a bad battery. So I checked all those boxes, head back out to the range, fired 4 or 5 more shots, dot turns off again. So naturally, I contact SwampFox Optics. I explained the situation to them. They said, hey, things happen. Send it back to us. We'll run some tests. We'll get you taken care of. A few weeks later, I get a response. They say, while we couldn't replicate the exact scenario that you described, we trust your intuition and experience. We're going to send you out a new one. So they did just that. I get the new optic. Runs perfectly fine. Now we are thousands and thousands of rounds down the line. Absolutely not a single issue. And to the point that I get another one. That being said, I think that's a true testament to SwampFox as a company. They took care of me, no questions asked, got me taken care of in a matter of weeks. At the most, they asked to run some tests on it, which I totally understand. But even though they say they couldn't replicate the situation, they still sent me a new product. So as far as their lifetime guarantee compared to others that I've dealt with, I think it's solid. Otherwise, as I showed you earlier, I run this one on my duty pistol, and you saw the marring earlier. This thing's been banged around. I've smacked it in my safe, getting it out a few times on accident, and it's a sturdy boy. I don't foresee having any issues with this. Only time will tell. Maybe later down the line I will, but for the amount of money that I paid for this product, I'm completely satisfied. That being said, if you're in the market for an affordable optic with a huge window that you can get in either a green or a red dot with, I'm pretty sure, no difference in price. Don't quote me on that, but regardless, it's like less than $150 if I'm not mistaken. I can't tell you that there's too much of a better contender on the market than the Justice 2 by SwampFox Optics. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, cheers and God bless. Subscribe if you think that paying $600 for a pistol optic is fucking crazy.